Hey Sunrise, it's Andrew here with your small group questions for this week as we unpack Genesis 28:10 through 30. So we have Jacob now on the run. He's leaving. He's headed towards his uncle's land in Haran, towards Laban. And so this is where our journey then picks up. And so our questions then dive into the very first event that comes up in this text. And this is what is commonly seen as the Jacob's ladder, the dream that he has along the way. And so as we work over these 20 verses, there's several different things to keep in mind that we should be thinking about. Part of this is, again, how would this have been impactful to the original audience? What do we learn about God in this text? And of course, how do we continue to see that covenant blessing work itself forward? And so the first question, of course, is when you look at this, how does the setting help us get a feel for what's taking place? What is the significance of Jacob alone in this field, this courtyard, if you will, with just a rock for a pillow? How does that help set up the tension of our text? And then into that, we have a dream. This is the second dream that we've seen in all of Genesis. The first one was Abimelech. Here's the second dream we have of God appearing. What do we see communicated to Jacob in this dream? So two basic questions from it. A, what is the significance that we have of the ladder or the stairway? What comes out from the angels ascending and descending and God being on top of it? And then what comes from the voice of God, his speech to Jacob? So we see the blessing come through here. And so when you hear the blessing, when you read it again in our text, what are some of the similarities that we've seen already with Abraham and Isaac? And then what are some of the differences? What are some of the nuances now that we see God encouraging Jacob specifically with? And so as you think about those things, again, we're unpacking how God is using the patriarchs in this time. How would specifically you get to the end of this blessing? How would that have hit the Israelites as they prepare to enter the land? Kind of seeing the scope of their history being repeated and heard here in Jacob. And then as our text comes to a close here, we have Jacob's response. And so Jacob responds in a variety of ways. So one, we have his opening statement about that God is truly in this place. What do you make from his opening statement upon waking up? What do you make of his worship, the setting up of the stone? And then lastly, his vow. So he makes these vows of if God is with me. What do you make from that? Is Jacob being honest, or is this a bargain? Is it if God does these things, I will do these things? Or is it purely a response in worship of God has been with me and he will accomplish this and I will do these things for him? How do those things all play together? So which do you end up in, and how does the text unfold those truths? Especially as we, again, look forward. It's a big picture all being put together for us. So we spend some time in this text. There's a lot to unpack about who God is and how God is beginning to work in the life of Jacob here. So I hope to see you guys on Sunday as this text is unpacked in our sermon, and then again in small groups as we really dive into some of the pieces that all get put together here. Can't wait to worship with you guys on Sunday.